Welcome. We're going to allow a couple seconds to let everyone into the webinar today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Noemi Guevara, and I'm the Director of Alumni Engagement here at California State University, Long Beach. We'd like to thank you for attending our industry chat today. We would like to let you know this session is being recorded and it will live on our website at csulb.edu/alumni. We also encourage you to use our Q&A box located below or above to submit any questions for our guest speaker today throughout the chat. And now I would like to introduce our moderator for the chat, Ms. Lucia Cos. Lucia earned her degree in Spanish in 1975. She was recognized as a distinguished alumna in 2005 and now serves as a council member for the CSULB Alumni Council. Lucia, thank you for joining us today. And now it's my pleasure to turn it over to you.
Great. And I'm sorry you can't see me today, but my computer is whacking out. So I am here and I'm really excited to introduce Sadé E. She is an American author, a life coach practitioner, and an entertainer. You may recognize her from the legendary film, Dolemite Is My Name, where she worked alongside Eddie Murphy. And also she's been on TV shows, American Soul, Pose, and Marvel series, Jessica Jones. Miss Moore was born and raised in Philadelphia. Followed her dreams of working as an entertainer. She attended AMDA College and Conservatory of the Performing Arts in New York City and Los Angeles. Later, she earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in English with an emphasis in creative writing from CSULB in 2013. Of course, in between there, she also attended and got her AA in liberal arts from Santa Monica College. So please welcome today's industry chat host, Sadé E.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in today. Now, the question that I have for you today is, how much are you committed to your dreams? Now, this is a question that I want you to ask yourself throughout this entire presentation. Okay. Now, imagine a little girl flying through the air with a sensation that's being validated by an applause and accolade. Now, she has no idea how she's going to make this dream happen. She just has a vision and she knows that she loves flying, she loves dancing, and she doesn't know how she's going to get there. You see a picture of this little girl here on the screen, and then the next picture to your right, you see a picture of that little girl with the same dream, who gained a lot of weight, who felt very insecure about her weight because her weight didn't match the societal ideas of what it meant to be a dancer, but she still had the passion to dance. And she knew that despite the rejection, that she had to commit to the vision that she had in her heart to be a dancer and an entertainer. And you see this third picture of the manifestation of that vision, where she is flying as a CBS soloist on Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Again, hello, my name is Sadé E. I am born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am an actress, author, dancer, and model. Now,
hey, Sadé,
yes.
Can you go ahead and share your screen?
Yeah, they didn't see your screen. Yeah.
They can see the screen?
Right.
So go ahead and hit share screen.
Hold on one second. There we go. Sorry about that, you guys. But hopefully you were still asking yourself the question, how much are you committed to your dreams? Now that you have the pictures in sight, you can continue to follow me. Now, as I asked you, how much are you committed to your dreams? For me, being committed to my dreams meant that I had to be very intentional about my training and my education. I knew that I wanted a career in the entertainment industry. And so after graduating from high school, I applied to AMDA, which is the American Musical Dramatic Academy and Conservatory of College in the Arts. But when I auditioned for the studio program. One, because I didn't feel like I was enough, and I really wanted to audition for the integrated program, which included music, dance, and acting. But I didn't have enough confidence in myself after being rejected and feeling like, you know, being heavy and not being accepted with my raw talent as it was, not seeing that, okay, we can take a risk or a chance on this girl. I had to take a chance on myself and cultivate my own kind of program because no one wanted to say yes. So I went to AMDA and I went to the studio program where I focused on the acting and took dance electives along my journey. So that way I can create that experience of having both the dance and the acting. And I was still too scared to sing, but I went there. And then I went to the went to the campus in New York, and then I went to the campus in California because I knew ultimately I wanted to work in film and TV. Now, after that, I went to Santa Monica College because at AMDA at the time, it was a 2-year conservatory program, so they didn't really offer educational classes. And I knew that education was something that I wanted to supplement my art training. So I applied to Santa Monica College, and that is where I could initially feel my dreams really begin to birth in a very real way. Now, while I was at Santa Monica College, I was also dancing on the company with my church. And for me, because I knew that the dance world and the entertainment world was very competitive, for me, because I was still growing, it was very important for me to be in a space where I could learn to dance from within first. Because then I knew that as long as I knew who I was as a dancer and honoring my spirit, that whatever space that I was going into, that I will be able to wipe away the distractions and still be completely myself and emerge into the dancer that I was envisioning, as long as I was dancing from that place inside first. So dancing at church and being accepted completely for just who I was helped me in the competitive spaces. So then it was my time to apply to transfer to the UC's or Cal State system, and I went to Cal State Long Beach. I entered in as a dance major, but still I was confused about what I wanted to do. I changed my major from biology to psychology, and I knew that dance was going to have to be something that was there at the program at the school that I selected. And because Cal State Long Beach had such a strong dance program, I knew that as long as I had that, whatever else that I chose, it was going to be fine. So I finally landed on being a major in English with creative writing, because I knew that as an actress that I was a storyteller. And so I said, if I'm telling stories, I love reading and learning stories, let me just go on the English path. And I selected the creative writing path just to learn how to speak from my voice. You know, a lot of times when you're being an actress, even though we have the creative control in creating the isms about the actress, you're still reciting and regurgitating someone else's thoughts and ideas. So Cal State Long Beach really set up a platform where I could use my own voice and just not have any kind of judgment about what it is that I was thinking or what it is that I was writing, and just allow it to be what it was. And so I was really grateful to have that experience at Cal State Long Beach, because it prepared me in my writing space, and also in the dance space as well.
Sadé?
So now
Sadé?
that yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
usually raise my hand, but you can't see me. I'm just
No,
wondering, because you learned at a very young age how to very logistically or logically kind of plan out your future. And when did that kick in? Because
you know, it kicked in. I was in high school. I remember I was doing, because I was modeling in high school, but when I was modeling in high school, I was modeling as a plus size model. And I remember, and I would do like hair magazines. I even did a runway show for a 17 magazine with Macy's. And I remember just not feeling okay in my skin. And also I remember a lot of the pets and strokes that I would get, like, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so fine. But I remember inside, I wouldn't feel how people were saying. And I knew that in order for me to create this idea I had in my mind, I couldn't depend on the strokes of people telling me what I knew that I didn't like, that I needed to change. And then when I went to programs to help me, that I believe would help me bring about that vision that I seen in my mind, and I was rejected, I knew that I had to hang on to the dream to create what it is that I wanted to see. And so I just knew that I had time. I knew that I had my self-will, and then I knew that I had discipline. And as long as that I held on to those three, no matter what it is that I wanted to accomplish, I knew that I would accomplish it, even if it took me a long time. And I just gave myself permission to feel uncomfortable in spaces where I literally felt like I didn't belong, because there were dancers' legs up to here, or people were just born into these amazing bodies. I allowed myself to feel uncomfortable for the sake of my vision, but it inspired me to be better. And so at a young age, I just so to answer that question, at a young age, I just said, as long as I have that and I commit to that, it's fine.
So there is a question that says, who kind of started or perpetuated your idea and vision of dancing? Did it come from within, your mom, a mentor, a friend? Why dancing?
Well, actually, so dancing, okay, my first experience in dance was, I was in pre-K, and my mom, she was experimenting. I remember going to Payless, and she, got some ballet shoes for me and some tights, and I had this white leotard, and I remember leaping across the air. And then I would spend time with my cousin, who was an amazing dancer. I mean, out of this world. Like, she was just my idea of what I wanted to be when it came to dancing. I mean, just natural, just everything. And she always made sure that I felt confident and comfortable. Like when I would be over there for the weekends, we would look in the mirror and she would teach me all of her dances that I could learn, that she would learn in school. And I loved it. She made it fun and entertaining for me. So growing up, I knew that that was a world that I wanted to be a part of. And my cousin was just so fierce at such a young age. Like her confidence level, her maturity, her vision, her idea to commit to something that she wanted to create, it has such a profound impact on my life. And so that pretty much set me up for the dance world, so to speak. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, it does. And another question came in right after that in terms of this. I'm just going to say this part is, that was your very first mentor. Your very first mentor. So someone's asking, did you have any mentors at AMDA or CSULB?
So, okay, at AMDA, I didn't have any mentors more than I like to call them angel squad. I had people that could see my raw talent and they spoke life into me, like they treasured it. Like at AMDA, I remember her name was Michelle Hart. I loved her, Southern Belle. And she just made me feel so welcome, so like she's seen me. Even though I was in my journey, even though she was over like the integrated program, I remember just feeling seen. And a couple other professors at AMDA, I remember even in LA, her name was Marina Benedict. I mean, just beautiful spirit. And again, fearless and phenomenal dancer. And again, going back to my cousin really set the stage for excellence in terms of me being able to key in on what excellence looks like in an art form. And so at AMDA and then CSULB, Sophie, I absolutely love Sophie. We didn't get to that slide yet, but Sophie was just amazing. At CSULB, she would always say to me, Sadé, you're a natural dancer. You're a natural dancer. And what I took from that was, beyond the technique, that she could see my passion for dance. And anything that she showed me or instructed me, I naturally got, but I brought myself. Like she created a space for me that no matter what the technique was, I could still show up as myself. And she was just such a, I love taking class with her. And then Sarah from CSULB, she was doing the undergraduate program at the time. Mimi Hotchkiss, my writing professor. I mean, so many. I could go on and on. I have so many writing teachers that I just absolutely love. I can go on and on and on. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. I just fast forward back to, I guess, Cal State Long Beach or Santa Monica. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know
and
you.
So Santa Monica.
You're gonna run out of time. Yeah.
No, and so Santa Monica, I loved. At Santa Monica, I had Karen McDonald, Jay Lee, Professor Doucet, Sherry Bradford, my counselor, Mr. Russell Hall. I mean, from the career, all the staff at the Career Services Center, the relationships that I established within my training and my education, Mr. Ramsey, they helped set the stage for where I am today. And I would not be as far in my path without my angel squad and without their generous spirit, which is why it's so important to have the education and training and the relationships to help push the dream further. So yeah, I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, no, that's great. So moving along, because I don't want you to run out of time.
Okay. No, yes. Okay, so let's go into the actress part, the theater, because as I stated, I have been an actress and I've been in all three platforms. So starting with the theater, this the first play is from a stage play called The Mask We Wear, and I played Betty Almost. And in this role, I was actually nominated for an NAACP. I did not win, but the nomination was a win. And I really enjoyed doing this play because it really channeled the idea of how we navigate through life, but we have these different masks on. And so in this play, this was an opportunity for us to explore ideas that were impacted specifically in the Black community and culturally speaking, and take the mask off without feeling shame behind it. And then these kind of ideas that or characters that we build in effect to the mask that we're carrying. So I really love doing that play. This next play right here at the bottom is called the Royale, which I had a great time playing. This was actually done in Milwaukee, and I played Nina, a woman who had 2 children. And talk about the first, in the introduction, I asked the question, how committed you are to your dreams. And this role, I traveled all the way across the world to stop my brother from his dream, because his dream could cost my life, because he wanted to be Jack. It was based on the story of Jack Johnson. He wanted to be the champion of the world, and part of him being the champion meant that he would knock out this white guy that everybody loved. But I was afraid of the backlash that it would cause in my household with my son as well as with him. So in my protective role as sister, I'm trying to stop him from his dream, because his dream may interfere with my dream of just running a peaceful household and just trying to survive. So that was a lot of fun. And actually, I got that through a relationship that I developed at AMDA with who is now my manager. His name is Mr. Kevin Ramsey, but at the time he was my career prep professor at AMDA. So I was very excited to have that come full circle. Next, we go into the film portion of being an actress, where I played Vivian from The Padlock Men. I played one of the original freedom riders during the civil rights movement, when there was a lot of civil and racial unrest. Specifically, we're in 2021 now, and we're dealing with a lot of that right now. And I was brutally beaten by a racist man who didn't believe that I had a right to vote. And I lost my child. So those are the 2 scenes that you see me being in the hospital after losing my baby from the brutal beating. If you want to check out the film, you can go to Prime, Amazon Prime, and watch it there. And then here to the right of the screen is one of the best experiences of my life, working in the film Dolemite Is My Name, opposite Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes and Mike Epps and Craig Robinson. And I mean, the cast was just so star-studded. It was a phenomenal experience, and I was so honored to work with such legendary people. and to again share screen time with them. Such a high point in my career, very, very high point. I'm going to go to the next slide. And now let's talk about the TV portion. American Soul. In this role, I played a Diane Carroll lookalike, which was a lot of fun. This show is based on the life of Don Cornelius, the host of the show Soul Train. I think everybody, remember Soul Train. And it was so much fun. And fun because I love when I'm playing characters from a different time. I love studying the context of the time and the relationships in that time. And the woman who is playing beside me, she plays the Marilyn Monroe lookalike. And when I was doing research, I was like, wow, I never knew that Diane Carroll and Marilyn Monroe sung at JF Kennedy's birthday party. That's a fun fact. And so I enjoyed that experience and loved playing such a beautiful woman of grace and so much personality and character and style. And then talk about Pride Month. Pose. I had so much fun playing this role. In this character, I'm helping Bianca. She is approaching the modeling profession, and I'm just encouraging in her fear to tell her not to be nervous and to know that somebody once like her that didn't look like the quote unquote norms within the modeling industry with this big hair got to be the new fresh face, and she can to be that new fresh face. And so I love this show because it really explores what it means to live in the complex lifestyle within the LGBT plus community and merge the worlds together in a very profound, fun, real, extravagant way. Like the ballroom culture is just amazing. I had so much fun with that cast, and it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. So now, because again, I don't want to run out of time, I'm going to talk about the author aspect. Cal State Long Beach, creative writing helped me really get to this space. When I wrote my first book, Soul Manifesto, a 49-day journey to healing, health, and happiness, it came at a very low point in my career. I lost everything. And initially the book started as a letter to myself to just encourage me that if I can go through all these different things in my lifetime, I can get past this hump. And so it really was an opportunity for me to expose some really intimate things in my life that I experienced and be vulnerable in a way where you wouldn't traditionally see unless someone had interviewed me. And I wanted to create this platform where people can know that they can self-heal and self-medicate just by being honest, just by journaling, and just by, using holistic tools to help them navigate different spaces. And so that's how Soul Manifesto came about. And then the second book, called Shut the Fuck Up and Write, was literally inspired by just quotes and images. I would go onto this site called Pexels and I would see different images and thoughts would just come up from the images that I would see. And so I just did an experiment by jotting down quotes based on images. And I said, you know what, this is a book. This is a great journal. This can really help break up writer's block. Because sometimes we can be trapped in our own experiences that it just takes an image or something for us to see just to kind of, write off or be inspired. And so that's where that book came from. And so now we go into the dancer section. The dancer section, the top two pictures are from a Synapse Dance Company. Again, an opportunity that was within the Santa Monica College experience, which I'm so grateful for. At the bottom, you see where I'm holding up the pink material. Again, that was for the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I danced, I had a soloist spot for that selection. And it was actually nominated for an Emmy. I didn't win, but it was still nominated for an Emmy, which is really exciting. And then this last picture here that you see on Point Shoes, that was in my point class with my professor, Sophie, and I was 23 years old. I mean, talk about demystifying concepts about what it means to first step in your first point shoe. I had such an amazing experience, like I really was like, am I in point shoes right now at 23 years old? I mean, after losing the weight, after going through all the trials, the tribulations, after hearing no, but just to believe in myself and say, you know what, I'm going to create a way to do what I see in my head. If I got to do it how I see it, it's going to happen. And to have the teachers and the staff to help that come to fruition was just such an amazing experience. And now let's go to the modeling section.
Okay, Sadé, real quick,
Yes.
someone asked
Yes.
for clarification. What did you mean
Yes.
when you said you lost everything in your career that inspired you to write? If you don't mind.
Okay. Yes. So when I lost everything, I was living in Los Angeles and I lost everything, meaning my money. So when I came back from that tour in Milwaukee, I came back, I didn't have a home because prior to me working, before going on tour, I had lost my job. Because I was working at a nonprofit that I absolutely loved because it was the perfect marriage between service and art. But when you run out of funding, jobs get cut. And so I was cut. I fell behind on my rent. My landlord was not as gracious with me waiting for me when I came back from the tour. So I lost my home. I went on tour, got money, came back. No one wanted to take a chance on an actress because it's not consistent income. So I blew through all of my money. I ended up finding a place in Lancaster, was driving over 60 miles every day. So that's a total of 120 miles every day for like 2 months. I got evicted because I blew through all of my money because I was using that time to audition, but I didn't get anything. So I finally came back to Los Angeles after getting evicted from my place, and I was sleeping on friends' couches. There was a period of time where even that was uncomfortable for me, and I was living in my car. I would go to Planet Fitness because I had a group that I was working out with for a period of time. I would go to Planet Fitness. I would wash up in the bathroom. I would come out, drive Uber, work out with the group, and nobody knew until I made one call to a friend, and she said, well, Sadé, you know you don't need to be sleeping in your car. And I was sleeping on her car and on her couch with her and her husband. And even then, I still didn't feel comfortable. It still felt like you needed to have a plan at any moment. Don't get comfortable in this situation. And so I knew, okay, I got to go back home. I got to go back home. I got to feel safe and not feeling like I'm, living on the edge of everything, because that even shows up in auditions. And so that could work against me. So I ended up driving home. And it was a 3-day journey, and it was one of the best 3 days of my life because I got to think clearly. And Uber actually prepared me for that 3-day drive because I was driving any day between 10 to 13 hours a day. And it was when it was time for me to take that drive across home, I was prepared. And I got back home and I just collapsed because I couldn't believe that I was back where it all started, but I wasn't where I thought I would be in my career. Like by that time, I thought I would have a mansion, making these millions and millions of dollars, on a series or something like that. It was not like what I imagined at all. And so when I was talking to my manager and we were talking about generating different streams of income, I knew that I could use my gift of writing. I could use my degree, right? And so I started just writing this book. And again, like I said, it was a letter to myself to encourage me, okay, you can get past this because all of these things you got past. And I took the chakra route because it's a universal term, and chakras are energy centers that we all have, but we are across the globe, that you can identify with a color, you can identify with food, you can identify with your own healing journey, and you can identify with topics or questions that you may shy away from, but that you need to face and address so that you can overcome and get to that next space in your life. So I hope that answered that question.
Yeah, let's get you moved on to, because you've only got about 15 minutes.
Okay, awesome. So then here's the pool. This is the modeling aspect where I was actually a model for a clothing line called Filthy Rags on Slauson, which I absolutely love. And then this was at a mansion for their show, and I just loved it. And then here on WeTV in the middle, I played a alien model for a hairstylist, a celebrity hairstylist. Her name is Kim Kimball, and I actually did 2 projects with her, but this was one that I really liked. I loved what she did with the hair and the whole futuristic and alien model theme. And then here on the last slide, you see a picture of me and my husband for the day in a tuft and needle print ad, which was a lot of fun for Memorial Day. And, you know, the traditional feeling, you waking up happy next to the one that you love, having some coffee while he's reading his newspaper, but it's love at the end of the day. And so I really enjoyed that. And now, final slide, if you want to get in touch with me, you can go to my website at www.sadeemore.com. I also have an athletic and casual clothing store called You Move RX that is also associated with my dance and fitness program. If you want to work with me privately and need coaching, you can see private sessions that I have on my website. Or if you want a group session, you could do that as well. But definitely go and check out my prices. I would love if you guys stay in touch with me. And that's it. Any questions?
Well, I think we have some more questions, and you've got about another 10 minutes or so online. So, oh, and by the way, I just got a message that my Wi-Fi is sketchy. So I've already told Noemi. So, but I guess one of the questions that came up was, how do you pick your projects? How do you choose the projects that you're going to participate in?
So for me, the projects, they have to resonate with me. I have my value system about what I will do and what I won't do. And when it comes to a project, let's even say, for example, what Dolemite Is My Name, for example, in which I had to take my top off. Whereas though, while I don't really advocate women walking around with, you know, their tops off, the value of what life could be like as a stripper, someone who's trying to make it and still be completely fine with that. That's still someone's story. So I just make sure that I stay close to my value system. And as long as it's not something that when I look back and I say, oh, I wish I never did that, I know that it's fine.
Right. There's another question. What advice do you have for a student or recent grads that feel like they don't belong? You overcame that imposter syndrome, and it's still very prevalent today.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I would just say to those students to know that you are enough, and that if you have the vision, that you need to commit to it, because you don't have it for nothing. I don't care what the world is saying, because remember, the world is filled with ideas, and those ideas came from somebody else's mind. And so you, being as an individual who also has an idea as in a vision, have the right to experience it and express it. And if you happen to be in an environment where someone doesn't support that, that is not where you need to be. And you can go and shift and find a supportive environment to help you channel and bring forth what it is that you know that you have inside, because playing small doesn't benefit anybody. And I know, because I did it for some time, and it only really does more damage and harm to you. So I would just say, put more emphasis and focus on the drive to push forward what you want to create for your life, than being an imposter and worrying about what people are saying and caring, because it doesn't matter.
Right. Now, there was a comment from someone, not necessarily a question. They just liked the term angel squad. And he said that he was going to adopt that where he's at. So I thought I'd throw that in.
Thank you.
That was from Jonathan in Murrieta. So I also questions because you did begin a spiritual balance of discipline and creating. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so again, when I was talking about making sure that my dance, but even more so my art, was coming from a spiritual place, I mean, everybody's relation to religion or understanding of God differs around the world. And so I just wanted to make sure that, because I truly believe that my gift and my desire to share in the art world came from a divine place, that I treated it in such a way where I took time to investigate how I was feeling about the art I was creating and then sharing that with the world. And so I just wanted to make sure that as long as I was combining the spiritual ideas that I was learning about myself in relation to my art and sharing that with the world, that it was coming from an authentic place. And as long as it was coming from an authentic place, no one could take that away from me. Just like no one can take your education and your experience away from you. So for me, making sure that I'm merging both the spiritual and the physical world together is my stamp of approval to keep going, because I know and I'm that confident that it's coming from a real divine place and not something or a social structure or construct that someone is creating for me, but it's actually coming from a place where I'm taking the time to think, to engage, to interact, to ask questions, from a place of spirit, and then sharing it with other human spirits around the world, because that's what we are. So I hope that answers that question.
Great. Yeah. Another question, what recommendation do you have for someone who is interested in the entertainment industry? I'm sure you've had some hard knocks there, but yeah.
Oh, yes. I would say, okay, you want to have a management team. I highly recommend a good, solid, supportive management team. You want to have good mentors who you, I don't like the word, you want to have the same kind of career more than careers that match your desires. Because that means if they've manifested something that you see that you want, then they can help you along the path. So I would say keep solid mentors around your life. You don't got to copycat them, or be weird about it, but just keep them planted in your life. And you want to make sure that you stay up on their studies, your trades, like whatever industry you're in. For example, if it's acting, if it's dancing, if it's modeling, you want to make sure you're researching your field, that you eat, sleep, breathe, and drink it, that it excites you, because there will be those down days where you don't have work. And so you have to make sure that you do things to inspire you. Like, for example, I'm not working as a dancer, but when I get up and I do my dance and my ballet in the morning, you can't tell me that I'm not on the stage performing or that I'm in class. So I'm still fueling my art. Or if I read a book, if I'm not actually reading a script, I'm still reading a story. So my mind is still going like, okay, well, if this was made into a movie, how could this role be played? So making sure that even on those down moments, that you're still fueling your artistry, but keeping your business intact. So you want to have a solid management team. When you're ready, you want to get an agent to help you book roles. I would highly recommend going into the commercial world first, because it's much easier to navigate that space, because a lot of agents, they want to make sure that they can trust their talent before they give them the opportunity to go in the theatrical space, which is TV and film. But just stick to it, no matter what the highs and lows are. If you know that you're assigned to this world, because it is a field, just like every service and every industry is in this world, stick to it and play your part, no matter where it is, if it's on the high end or if it's on the low, and feed your artistry and feed your spirit.
I would like that. I think there's something on your website in terms of a class that kind of encompasses that. Am I right? I can't remember. I read it this morning.
Yes, actually is. I have a summer program, and that is actually helping dancers who struggle with fear and self-doubt. And it's a 4-week program, and it is on my website. We actually have our summer sessions starting on the 5th, actually. So please get enrolled if you're interested. If the 5th is too soon, we have one coming right around the corner after that in the fall. The last day to register for the summer is on the 4th, which is tomorrow. But I work with individuals who have a difficult time with poor body image, and they struggle with fear and self-doubt.
Okay, you've got about 3 minutes, so there's 2 questions. What is next for you? And then any final thoughts or observations or advice for fellow alumni or current students at Cal State Long Beach?
Good questions. What's next for me? I'm working on a book right now, a children's book that I'm really excited about. As far as the entertainment industry, I don't know. I don't have a slew of auditions coming in right now, but I'm open. I make sure that I stay ready for when that time does come. And then observations, just make sure that you have fun. You know, we all get this one life in this particular time, and just make sure that whatever you're doing, that it has value, it has meaning, and that you are really taking advantage of your moments and creating real memories, so that when you're not here, that you left something that was so memorable and so unforgettable that they say, this person was here. And so have fun, love yourself, and I hope to work with some of you, and that's it.
Well, I also just noticed something in all of everything I've read, even on your website, is that you really are very diversified. So if there's not jobs coming in for movies or TV, maybe there's something in modeling, or maybe there's something in the book that you're writing, or maybe, and it's all of the people you meet in these different areas. Have you found that?
Yes, I have. And that's why it was important for me to be skilled in different areas, because I knew that highs and lows come in the entertainment industry. But I wanted to make sure that my mood or my feeling or my purpose in life was not so attached to how someone perceived me in Hollywood. So that, like you said, in my writing, there may be a time where I'm working and my writing space is taking off because the industry may be slow for me right now. And I'm still feeling fulfilled because it's something that I really want to do. So yes, in the other mediums, when they're happening, I'm happy, just as long as it's in the vision and it's in the dream. It's all good.
I think we're at 12:45, so I'm going to turn it back over to Noemi, but I've really enjoyed the conversation with you, Sadé.
Thank you. I enjoyed being here myself. Thank you very much.
Great. Noemi?
Thank you, Lucia. Thank you, Sadé. You're such an inspiration for our students. You've done so much, and we're very thankful for your time. We can't wait to see what your next projects are, and we'll be there rooting for you the whole way. We can't wait for you to come back to LA and join us on campus one of these days. We're excited to have
you so much.
We'd love to have you on campus.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Again, this was recorded, so we'll be on our YouTube channel in a couple of days. We thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to see you next time. Thank you.